Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Eight Queens Roundtable Show. We are live yet again with another awesome guest. I can't wait to get started. But let me go ahead and introduce myself. For those of you that don't know, my name is Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. I am your host for Eight Queens Roundtable Show, as well as Eight Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposiums. So, what we do every second and fourth Sunday of the month, we are here live with a different entrepreneur, basically just talking openly and honestly about entrepreneurship, right? And all the ups and the downs. And we end off on a educational note where each guest shares different tools and techniques that you can begin to use right away to scale your business. So without further ado, I'm going to let my special guest introduce herself and tell you just a little bit about herself.
Hello, hello. I am so excited to be a part of today's roundtable. It says the Queen's Roundtable. I'm like, listen, I should have worn my crown.
I know.
How are you today, Miss Jacqueline?
I am wonderful, wonderful, wonderful on this beautiful Sunday. The
It
sun is
is.
shining here.
It is. It is actually hot. It's feeling good here in Atlanta. I'm so excited to be with you today. And thank you so much. I feel absolutely honored to be a part of the round table today. And for anybody that doesn't know, my name is Angela Foxworth, aka A Fox, and I am a television talk show host and the reigning US Majesty Woman 2020. And I'm very excited to be here with you today. I am also an entrepreneur. I actually delve in a couple of different things and live my dream all at the same time. So I am truly excited to be here. One thing that I did forget to mention, I am a best-selling author of three publications, two bestsellers, one international bestseller. It has been an absolutely amazing last couple of years for me. So I'm truly honored to be with you today.
Wow, well, I'm honored to have you here today to share with us and, just give us some good information in reference to, how you became a best-selling author and, some of the other endeavors that you're working on. Can't wait to hear more about it. So tell us a little bit more about Angela. Like, where are you from? Did you come from a large family? Did entrepreneurship run in your family?
Let me tell you, absolutely not. So I'm probably one of the most non-traditional entrepreneurs there are out there. Simply because I didn't even know really what that meant. I was raised in a family. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised. I'm a Florida girl. Love the beach, love the water. Probably in a former life, I would have been a flower child. Okay, I probably would have been walking around. Let's just love everybody. I'm that girl. Absolutely have a love for people. I truly have a love to see people win. Sometimes to a fault, I tend to be a people pleaser because I hate to see people unhappy and miserable. I really, really do. And I am a true believer that if you are doing what you feel like you're destined to do, you're going to be extremely successful at it. So, with that being said, being raised, I was raised by a single black mother who was like, listen, you just need to have good credit. Okay. So, she told me about the credit part. And then she said, you need to get an education because we didn't have, I come from an actually a large family, but because they're so kind of separated, we never really knew how big our family was. So literally, we actually resided with the smaller side of our family. And so I didn't know I had as many cousins, and I didn't realize how huge our family really is. Well, with that being said, it was like go to school, get an education, and when you retire, that's when you can pretty much enjoy the fruits of your labor. So for me, I was really kind of like the black sheep. I was the dreamer of the family. It's just me and my brother. I have a brother that is 6 years younger than me. I am the oldest. My parents divorced when I was two. They both had sons outside of me 6 years later. So I have two brothers. They're like a month apart. And literally, I just was always the dreamer. I always wanted to be Oprah Winfrey. Like I just loved, I would get the hairbrush, practice in my mirror. just to, emulate what she was doing because I felt like it was so magnificent. But I think the natural side of me, I was never a nosy person, but I definitely was introspective. Like, no matter what somebody would tell the group, or no matter what face they would put on for everybody else, I always wanted to dig deeper. I always felt like that was some kind of root cause to who they are, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it. So I was always structured to want to be a talk show host. But again, that was unrealistic coming from my family. So it was just about going to school, getting an education, and being successful and working a job.
Okay. One thing that you mentioned that really stands out. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. You hear that feedback?
I hear what I hear on my end is like a crackling.
Right, that's what I
Yeah,
hear.
I do hear it a little bit.
Mm. Okay, and I'm wondering if I'm talking too loud.
Let me. I'm gonna tune off my mic while you're talking.
Okay, so one thing that really kind of stands out for me is the idea of working your job, right, until you retire. And then when you retire is when you will begin to experience, I think you phrased it, the fruits of your labor. So it's just like, okay, so we're going to work until we're what, 65, 60, 67, 68, and we're not going to enjoy anything.
Yes. Let me tell you, I used to think the same thing. I was like, will I even be doing anything at that particular time? Because we know, like at that time, you're talking about retiring with your significant other through the grace of God, if y'all are still together or still alive with each other. Aren't we gonna be past the part, the part where we get to enjoy each other like that? And then, so it always just seemed far fetched to me. Even though I followed it, there was always something missing. Over the years, there has always been that void, that I've had, that I felt like there's got to be something greater out there. It just has to. I would always be on a job, and this is no brag to me or anything, but every job I was on, every time management would come up, they would either you would either have the you would have the people that loved your energy, but if you seemed like a threat, then they would always want to hold you back. And to be honest, I used to think that was in my head years ago, but I've realized over the years, no, a lot of people have gone through that. Because when people see greatness and potential in you, sometimes they see it before you do. So if they're not confident and comfortable in themselves, they will cause a lot of distractions for you to go on the outside of what you originally set out to do. And what needs to happen is, I think what tends to falter with people, because we maybe have not developed who we are, or we don't know at that time really what we're destined to do. We allow those things to take us off track because we don't even know. So if I found out, greatness inside of me much later in life than even back then. And to be honest, even now, as people say it, I do still kind of get that little twinge a little bit because, for me, greatness is that I want to leave a legacy for the people behind me. I'm not necessarily, so hype about money and notoriety and being some kind of star. I really want to make a difference because when I leave here, I want somebody to be able to say, boy, she kept it 100. She inspired me. I loved being around her. Her energy is infectious. That's what I absolutely love hearing. So sometimes when that greatness thing happens, I don't know, it just, I've had to learn to push past feeling bad about that because some people, God is just marked for greatness. It's just the bottom line, and you just got to accept it and walk in it, you know?
So, what do you think? Because I know that that's something that I've heard a lot of women say, and it has to do with that, ladies. If you all could let me know if you can still hear me, because it seems like it seems even louder now.
Actually gotten a lot thicker. And I turned
Oh,
my mic off, but it wasn't on this end because it didn't do anything.
yeah. I don't know. I'm not doing anything different. Somebody, let me see. Somebody made a comment. Oh, it's Sydney. Sydney, can you hear us okay? Or can you hear me okay? Because there's a little bit of feedback here, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, because I can hear you, but it's definitely, muffled with the sound behind you.
And I'm not doing anything different, so I don't really know. That's the only thing when you do things live. It's like, things happen and you don't really know. And
Look,
you
that's
just
the trick of the enemy. Get thee behind us, Satan. We're going to get this word out.
right. Said it's a little bit of feedback, and I don't know what to do. Maybe if I turn my sound down, that doesn't seem to, it's not really working. It's still feedback.
And you only have one device on,
No, I have my iPad on.
because sometimes two devices could cause it.
Okay, let me turn the iPad off. Okay, I did that. I have another program open. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Would you be able to come out and come back in, or would it disrupt the whole stream?
Mm, I can go off camera and come back in.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So okay. So let's keep flowing, and I'm going to get my headphones out. So I was going to ask you. It was something. Oh, so it kind of sounds like you had to, or initially you felt bad, or resist. I don't know. Resistance is not the right word, but in terms of like shining too much, or because you mentioned about the experiences with some of the different employers.
Yeah.
About how lots of people recognize that greatness in you before you recognize it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I couldn't hear the last part of the question. I apologize.
That people recognize the greatness in you
Hmm.
sometimes before you even recognize it. And
Okay.
that they'll, do, different tactics or techniques, I guess, kind of what throw you off or
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about it is what I feel like is, again, most of the time as you're growing and you're evolving and learning yourself, you may not even realize, you know, what other people see in you. The thing that I know that it really used to make me feel bad. So what I would try to do is make sure I was quiet during certain moments, because it did not matter what. And like I said, it wasn't, I didn't even say anything profound, okay? But we would be like in a group of people, and it was always a different setting with someone. And even when I was quiet, people would say, "And what do you have to say?" And just say I answer a question, and next thing you know, it's like you've taken over. Everybody's listening, and so for me, it became, where I was a double-edged sword for people, especially with friends who I was blessed to meet, people who were well above me as far as status goes. I was always a regular Joe Schmo. I mean, I made like 30, 40,000 a year at a job. I wasn't like I was an executive anywhere. When I finally did become like management, that was in telecom. And so I literally felt in my heart, what would they be threatened for? I don't even got no money like that. Me and my husband, we did well for us. We were comfortable for us. I could say that we were able to pay bills, and we lived in a really nice home. We had two cars or whatever, but it wasn't like we was balling, shot calling, where we ride down the street or some pimped out ride or something like that. We were just regular Joe. I think I had a Ford Taurus. Nothing that I would attribute to, you know, being what the world feels is relevant. But the thing was, I would always meet people, and they would always, like attach themselves to me, who always had money. They would always be, in my mind, way better than me. And I would look up to them like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And I never had a spirit of, oh, I wish I was that. because I was comfortable in my life. I just have never, when you don't have, you don't miss what you don't have. So a lot of people really don't understand that. To me, they're like, well, you speak brokenness. No, I really don't. I know that God is going to give me wealth, but he also said that success is what you think success is. To me, it's health. It's wellness, it's having peace of mind, not being crazy, being able to get along with my family. Those are the things that are rich to me. And the fact that anything extra, I give it away anyway. Because listen, when I do have money, it's always gone. So it ain't gonna really, benefit me to be super, super wealthy anyway. It's gonna all be with somebody else helping them out. Because I was one of those kind of people, when I say I'm gonna pray for you and I didn't have it to give them, that bothered me. And so I do, over the years I've changed my why, but I've never been like a lover of money. If I had it, I had it. If I didn't, I was gonna roll and have me a good time regardless. Because I would make a joke all the time and say, I got rich friends. What I need to be rich for? But the thing is, what I would find is two things, and I want to help people out with this. Sometimes when people attach themselves to you, it makes them feel better in their mind. They can feel like they're better than you, especially if they have a lot of tangibles that you may not have. So I've learned those tough lessons. Yes, they loved my energy, and yes, they loved being around me. And yes, they loved showing the person who just, idolized them and thought they were the bomb. They loved having me around until they felt like I was a threat. Until we went too many places and I was getting too much attention. Because who is this little fat chick, thinking that she all of that? Why is she getting more attention than me? I'm the single one. I'm the pretty one. I'm the one that's got all the money. So I've experienced that my entire life, and it was never anything that I ever even looked at. I just loved good conversation, going around, enjoying people. So people sometimes have motives that you may never see. You just have to be mindful of that. And at the end of the day, they were actually birthing something in me that I never knew was in me. I knew what I wanted to do and I knew how I would have fun in life, but I never knew, is this something that I would even take serious as a career or anything? And so you just have to be careful about the people that are around you who want to crush that.
I mean, you touched on so many different topics there that I wanted to kind of jump in, but I wanted to give you a chance to finish. But one of the things that I definitely wanted to mention is the importance of being around people that really truly support you, right? That are really in your corner. And I don't think people really understand the importance of that, and it's not about, taking, like jumping on a bandwagon, if you will, or, you know, only, surrounding yourself with the people that have money or have all this notoriety, nothing like that, but really being around people that vibe like you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That have some things that are similar. You all have ambitions to be better, to be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday, right? And those individuals that actually want to see you succeed,
Yes.
Because not oftentimes, but sometimes you have people that are in your inner circle that really don't need to be there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They say one, they're takers. All they do is take, take, take.
Yes.
And it's not reciprocal. They don't give anything back. And sometimes, unfortunately, secretly, they don't want to see you succeed,
They don't know.
you know? And to be very clear, just because somebody is a family member, it doesn't mean that they have your best interest at heart. It could be conscious or unconscious, but sometimes, you might upset, if you will, for lack of better words, other people's demons, or they see things in you
Yes.
and they feel threatened, or they, somehow they don't feel good about who they are
Yes.
because they're not using their talents or, bettering themselves in a way that they feel that they should be,
Yes. And
you
what I
know.
find too, Jacqueline, on that note, when it comes to your inner circle, those are truly, like you said, the ones that you need those are the ones that you need in your life to push you to help you get elevated. What I say is everybody else is just ministry because you're gonna need all of them. So you're gonna need the haters because well, number one, let me even help with that. People who do hate on you because they do exist, just know that they exist because you're relevant. Let me tell you, ain't nobody hating on nobody they not threatened by. Okay, that's just the bottom line. And they're not threatened by you because they may feel like you really ain't all of that anyway. So the fact that you even have some people that are trying to shun you, look, you doing good. That means you are valid, honey. They think that you are the bomb.com and you
You
just
know what?
the opposite.
You know, I got to make this joke. I don't know if you or some of the other people that are listening know who Cat Williams is.
Yes,
You know, okay.
yes.
So he has this joke about haters. I don't know if you've heard it, but he's like, he said, if you don't have any haters, that should be your goal to get some haters. He's like, if you got 50 haters now, then your goal for next month should be to increase it to 100 haters.
Yes, I saw that when he said it and I hollered. I love because he even gets into self-esteem. He like it's esteem of yourself,
Right.
excluding the explicitives. But at the end of the day, that is as real as it gets. You know what I mean? Like you definitely nobody and another thing too, even people who imitate you. Imitation is the best form of flattery. That means they love what you're doing. And let me tell you, I have a lot of people who will do that and never give me credit for that it came from me or that it did. I'm not even that far versed into it to even worry about it. There are so many millions of people that come in this world in and out. We all sometimes have the same ideas, sometimes the same ideologies. It doesn't mean you're any better or any less than anybody else. It's just that the niche that I have, nobody gonna do it like A Fox. I'm not gonna do it like Jacqueline, and that's just the bottom line. And you gotta be comfortable with that. You also gotta be comfortable that everybody ain't feeling you either. Okay, it don't mean they hate it. It's just something that you don't bring to the table that they're looking for. Again, that's why you gotta know who you are, and you gotta surround yourself around people who are gonna help you see that because a lot of people are not going to be thinking, oh well, let me. I don't want to. They're not going to tell you all the time that you're just not their cup of tea. You got to be comfortable sometimes just not being somebody's cup of tea, and that's okay because it's about trillion other cups that may
Right.
love you. Do you know what I'm saying? And look how huge Beyonce is. Everybody don't love Beyonce. It's just the majority of the people do. We have to understand who we are to get past that.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask this. What sort of advice would you give to a younger version of yourself or to those young ladies out there that are, maybe early 20s
Mhm.
that are thinking about entrepreneurship?
Yes. I tell them I actually do have people that I mentor, young ladies that I do mentor, and I push them into going in that direction. Because number one, when you can be the owner of your own destiny, you set your hours, you set your time, you can enjoy your ideals. And entrepreneurship pushes you. Because when I did have my 9 to 5, I was lazy about finishing the dream part of my life because I knew I had a check coming every 2 weeks. Okay, listen, let me give somebody the real when it comes to entrepreneurship. We don't know if a check coming every 2 weeks. Okay, sometimes you don't know if a check coming every month, and people have to know the reality of that. So what happens is you tend to get off your behind a lot more when you're an entrepreneur than being comfortable sometimes on a job because it forces you to know your bread and butter, how you're going to eat this month is based on the work that you put in. And so it's going to keep you on your toes. It's going to keep you grounded. It's going to keep you visualizing and constantly working on your craft, improving yourself, getting extra education if you need it, being able to really hone in on your craft. And for people who know what they want to do, look up what you want to be. Find out what it takes to get there and emulate people who are already successful in that area. That doesn't mean shun people who are dreamers, Because if you're a dreamer, then you know that everything you're equipped with, it just hasn't manifested yet. But just make sure you have one or two people, core people that you look up to because they have had success, and follow some of the things that you do. You're not going to have to reinvent the wheel every time. The whole point of us leaving these legacies is so that you can take nuggets we've learned and be able to apply them. So I say go for it, because to be honest with you, if your passion is not a job and you feel it stirring on the inside of you, you're not meant to be anyway anywhere in a job. That's not what you're destined to do, and you're gonna feel it. I never felt 100% ever on a job, no matter how good I was at the job. I knew that there was something else for me, and that isn't for everybody. So I want to be clear on that. There are some people destined to be awesome executives on their job or awesome workers on their job. There is nothing wrong with that. But for the entrepreneur, you already know what you're feeling, operate and move in that.
Mhm. Yep. I definitely know what that feels like because every job that I get, it's like it never feels right. It's always something like tugging, at the inside of me,
Yes,
always.
yes.
So I wanted to ask you this. So talk to us a little bit more specifically about how your business came about or businesses, how long have you been an entrepreneur and, some of the different things that you do and how you help people.
Well, I tell people that my literally last W 2 job was June 2020.
Okay.
So I'm brand new to entrepreneurship as a whole. However, I did leave my full time job January the 11th, 2019. And how that came about, honestly, again, I was always, well, first of all, I was at a company that just wasn't fulfilling. What would happen is that was one of to be honest, one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned. And I laugh because, people get so nervous that I'm going to talk about this particular company. All I'm going to say about it is that with the days that we're in today, it's the kind of company that cares more about the company than the people. And to be honest with you, that's about most corporate America at this stage of the game. So for me, what would happen is I definitely had people that in management there that was threatened by me. I mean, there's no doubt, very immature, very insecure about their positions and different things like that. Even when I said I didn't want to be management because I didn't. But what happens is when you're a natural born leader or you're an influencer, if people are going to follow you, it would actually be a detriment to the management. So it was always this issue, right? And then, especially as I began operating in my dream, after work, you see me, at different venues, you see me interviewing some celebrities. Okay, it became a real big issue at this point. Okay, now she is the girl in our world, and we just got to do everything to make her uncomfortable. To be honest with you, that is what happened. I felt like I was forced to resign, but it was because I was disobedient. So for anybody that's a believer, and I'm saying even if you believe in the universe and different things like that, when the universe speaks to you, for me it was God, you need to listen. So 2 years prior, he told me to take a leap of faith and quit this job because I started operating in, doing radio show. I started Blog Talk, and from Blog Talk, I became an independent radio personality on an independent station. And because that started growing and I started getting more and more visibility, it started to really feel like, oh my God, this is actually could be a reality. And then I was blessed that I had a friend at that particular time who really believed in entrepreneurship. She is a born entrepreneur. She always wanted to do something on her own. So I want to give a kudos real quick and a shout out to Angela Lewis, aka A Love, because that is how we started our dynasty at the time, Hot Wife, Hot Life. But this is where you have to have the people in your circle that are really going to birth you into what you need to be, need to get to your next level. I wasn't the business person. I was the person that just wanted to have fun meeting people and interviewing them. That was it. I wasn't excited about the business part. I didn't want to know nothing other than, can you give me the mic and can I talk on it? But as I continued to do that, it just became more and more visible that this is really a possibility. I thought this dream had passed 20 years ago. So I never knew this is something that I could actually do. And then when the business part of it, where you could actually start getting paid for certain things, I was like, oh my God, this is really it. This is really doable. And so, um, again, 2 years later, where it just got unbearable on that job, it was time to step out on faith. And at that, let me tell you, my hands were going like this the entire time I was writing the resignation letter because I was terrified. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm taking a big leap. I wrote that letter and it was this brief. I will be leaving January the 11th, 2019. Thank you and have a great day. That was all I wrote. Hit send. And I don't know what, it was almost like a spiritual transfer. When I hit send, I swear I felt free. Didn't know what was gonna happen, and look, I was scared to tell hubby, okay, because I kind of left it from him. I was like, oh well, they're laying off. I kind of, I ain't gonna lie, I lied. I can't even sit up here and say, well, it was a little white lie. I lied, okay, because I didn't want him stressing, and because at this time I needed no noise. I needed to know that I did hear from God. He had given me the confirmation, and I just needed to walk in it because I knew, just like being on that water, walking toward Jesus, if I look to the left and the right, I'm going to drown. But if I stay focused on that prize, I'm going to keep moving. And that is what I did. I said, just stay focused. And let me tell you, I had all of these things in place, right? That I thought that I needed to have in place just in case things didn't pan out. Guess what? Everything I had in place failed. The Lord made it where I was going to have to depend on Him. And sometimes the Lord can be so dramatic, okay? And the reason is because He wants you to know when He decides a thing, it's a right. You gonna know it's God. And that is how I have been living. He has taken care. I have been on point with my bills. When I was working full time, I used to have to call and make arrangements. Listen, I was on speed dial. They'd be like, hey, Miss Foxworth, what, you gonna be late again this month? They were so used to me. I was in the frequent call late program. Okay, I have no shame about it. I ain't had an issue since I left that job. I have not been late on a bill. And that has been the most fulfilling that it is. God has proven that because I operate the way He told me to, He was gonna bless it. And then but it took a lot of purging. I had to go through a lot of fire to get to the point where I could trust Him, really trust Him. Now I do have this sick, crazy faith that even sometimes I still in my flesh get nervous, but I'm like, look, God, tonight, work it out. I'll talk to you in the morning. You got it, whatever it's going to be. And He works it out. So, yeah, it is definitely, those were the steps that I, really took to really operate in this thing. And what happened was leaving that job also allowed me 8 hours that I could dedicate to just me. And so, with that being said, I was able to learn my craft. I was able to find out other avenues that I could take as an entrepreneur that would give me the cash flow that I needed to pay what I needed as I continue going into that direction. Is it a little slow? Of course. It's taken me forever to get my show up and everything because people don't understand. You have to have some flow to make it go. Okay. So a lot of times they be like, girl, if we hear you ain't got no show, we know you ain't on no show. I am. But it is sometimes it's a slow process. But when it's all said and done and you see the finished product and what you have accomplished, let me tell you, nothing will stop you. You will keep going and you'll keep evolving and you'll keep getting better and better. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. Well, a couple of things. And it's like I'm a little reluctant to say too much because of so much feedback. Because it's like it's more feedback when I talk versus when you talk.
Yes.
So I want to acknowledge Sydney. He stated that that's amazing. It's confirmation to me.
Amen.
Are you able to see the comments, Angela?
I'm
Can
sorry.
you see his can you see his comment?
No, I don't see
Oh,
any
okay.
comments. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I wasn't sure. I know they share it on
Okay.
sure. So the feeling of breaking chains, unseen but definitely felt it when you make that decision is priceless.
Yes.
So hearing you say that, I know it means a lot to me, and it strikes a chord with me, and I'm sure it strikes a chord with some of the other people in the audience as
Yes.
well. Just that whole feeling of, like you said, your hand was going like this, writing that,
Yes.
typing that resignation letter. But looking back on it, it's probably like the best thing that you did, or one of the best decisions that you've made.
Yes.
Stepping out there on faith, and just being rooted in your purpose. That's what I call it. Being rooted in your purpose. And hopefully everybody, this will serve as an inspiration that you can get paid, you know, right? What you feel you deserve doing something that you enjoy doing.
Yes.
When you don't feel like you're compromising your values. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yes.
So I want when people hear that, I want that to resonate with people. So all right, so that was one of the main things. I wanted to talk about, who you are, how you got to where you are today. Now, I know you have a topic, prepared for some more, words of wisdom and encouragement. But before we do that, if you could just share with me, what would you say has been your biggest struggle, whether it's personal or professional, and how have you addressed it?
Okay. So this is a loaded question, but it's very simple for me. Okay, because I'm actually going to be talking about it today in my webinar later on. Distractions. That has been my biggest challenge. Staying focused
Okay.
because I'm one of those all over the place kind of people. And when you are honestly trying to get structured in your purpose, you have to have a level of organization. You have to have a level of strategy so that you can be the most successful. I'm not saying some people can't find order in their chaos because you can, but honestly, just creating the goals list and kind of trying to stick with that, distractions have been the biggest because I do 50 million different things. And so I've had to learn how to prioritize. I can't jump at every opportunity. I had to start really looking at opportunities as what is best for me. Okay, so, and I'm going to help some new entrepreneurs with that, right? Because when I first started out, and I can only really speak to entertainment, I don't know if it's like this for everything. I don't know, and then I don't know if in entertainment if everybody does this. I didn't go to school for entertainment. I'm doing it now as an older person. But you tend to do a lot of freebies. You'll do things to get visibility. People don't know you, so they don't want to put any kind of faith and effort and money into you until they know what you're all about. So you're going to have to create consistency so that people can see that you're serious, but you also have to have something that is going to allow them to gravitate to you, right? But what tends to happen is when you start off, you'll start just doing anything, because you want to put yourself out there. And that's good. I did that for a while. But what tends to happen is when it starts to go into the real business where you're about to make some really good income, you have to start valuing what you bring to the table. So I do feel like there is a natural timeline of, okay, I've given these freebies away. So, here it is. But then you got to shut that down and start really valuing your business and saying, okay, hey, I don't do the freebies anymore. It's going to cost this. You start to develop structure, you start to develop strategy, and you start really operating in that. When you're less distracted and you stay focused on what you need to do, you can go ahead and implement this from the beginning. And as you're continuing to grow, then it will become more and more apparent that, okay, they're worth the bottom line, the money, whether you're looking for sponsorship, whether you're looking for advertising, whether you're wanting people to tune in. Those are things that you really, need to tackle And you got to stay non-distracted in order to make that happen. Because when you're consistent and you continue to do these things, you operate in that excellence, and then people are going to catch on, you know, and it's going to be inevitable. So yes, that is one of my biggest things, and I still struggle with it today. I have gotten so much better, as I've gotten older, because it really has helped me. But I literally did all of this. I'm self-taught. So everything that I have done has been with years of never being. My mom was the mom that never let us go anywhere. So I was in the house. Television was my life. Okay. So it is just years of knowing what watching television meant to me and then applying that to my life. I have been burned in this journey more than I've been helped. But every time I've been burned, I've learned what not to do, because there are a lot of scammers out here. There are a lot of people who literally, let me tell you, this business is about marketing, right? A lot of people can market something excellent. Doesn't mean you're going to make money off of it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get the same successes that they get, because 9 times out of 10, the money you're putting towards them is where they're getting paid and you're really not. So you have to look at all of these pitfalls. If you got the money to blow, blow it. If you feel like it's going to give you visibility, go with it. But I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, a lot of things that you establish on your own, it is just going to take some hard work of researching for yourself, cutting out the middleman on every avenue that you can to really understand it for yourself. Because the more knowledgeable you are, the more you can navigate in this business anyway. So then when you're ready to pay out to things that you think are going to benefit your brand and your business, you will be so structured and not falling in the pitfalls that I fell in. I've fallen in a lot. That's how I say God is so good, because I have spent more money, thinking that that's what I needed to get to a certain place, than I've made money. But it's finally panning itself out, and it's all evening out. And I have to give myself credit. At least I had that money to lose, because when I think about it, that was money that I wasn't working. So if I lost 5 figures, that means I had made the 5 figures when I wasn't working to make it happen. So you got to count everything as a win, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But that is definitely going to help somebody as they navigate into their purpose.
Yes. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So let me give a couple of acknowledgments. Dr. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us.
I love Dr. Carolyn.
Miss Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. And and Pastor Kanzada, thank you so much for joining us. Didn't want you all to think that I didn't, I want to acknowledge everybody. But everybody's coming to show up in different places. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for pointing to the audience, Angela. Because you never know who's gonna hear this and what the takeaway is gonna be. This might be something that might really change things for someone. It may be they may hear this broadcast and decide to go a totally different route, than what they were doing initially. It could change someone's life. So thank you so much for being here. So your topic, I want to give you an opportunity to go into your topic. So if you could just let us know. I'm sorry about all the feedback. If you could
No,
just
that's okay. So I didn't hear part of that. What you
So
said.
if you could let us know the title of your topic and go into your topic, I want to give you an opportunity, still to be able to talk about your topic.
Oh, okay. So the topic for the roundtable in May.
No, for today.
Oh, for today. You know what? Honestly, I didn't really have one. I just
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I really didn't. It was just all things entrepreneur.
Okay. Because I think I had put down it was the truth about the truth, the importance of integrity in your business.
I thought that was for May.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
For
So you know what? Now that we mentioned that,
speaker.
right.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes, that is the truth about the truth. And I forget what the second part of that it was. The importance of integrity in your business. Yes,
Yes.
yes, and that is what I'll be talking about in May.
Okay.
Um, as a part of the roundtable, but it means everything to me. Truth is everything in this business. And I'm going to say this, and I am probably the minority with this thinking. I just think truth is going to win out in the end. Okay? I don't care how many people shuck and jive, lie their way to anything that they do, lie on you, present things falsely, embellish, all of those, things that you do, to make yourself relevant or whatever the case is. I just believe ultimately, if it is meant for you, it's going to be for you. I don't care how you navigate deceptively to get there, how many people you walk over, how many people you lie on. You're never going to enjoy and reap the full benefits of what you could have if you just stayed honest. And that is just the bottom line. And there's never going to be longevity with it. And you can say that you heard it first from A-Fox. That is just, we live in a world of just lying, scandalous foolishness. Now, am I perfect in my life? No. And for the most part, I am relatively honest, even if it's to a fault. And sometimes people say I'm a little too honest sometimes because I reveal all kind of stuff about myself. But I gotta sleep at night. I gotta be able to wake up and know that I didn't just hurt somebody intentionally, because I ain't gonna lie and say I never hurt anybody. But I didn't just wake up with the, ideology that if I said this about this person, it's gonna make me more successful. I hate the even thought of it. So
Right.
when I talk, we get into this. I'm about to tell. I'm not gonna reveal people who have lied or anything like that. But what I am gonna show you is what to look for, so that you are not deceived into expounding your business. And I don't even see how people can live like that. When you know you done somebody wrong, you justify every which way. It is as simple as picking up the damn phone and saying, hey, I am so sorry. I did you wrong. You will feel better, and so will the person dealing with you, even if they don't forgive it. But at the end of the day, you cannot continue operating the way you operate if you're being dishonest and think that you're going to get the just rewards, because it's just not going to happen. I don't care what it looked like in a moment, and I don't care how long you think you're going to sit on that catbird seat. Your behind is going to fall. Well, sometimes I think what happens is when you don't learn the lesson, because we do have grace and mercy, we're allowed grace and mercy, right? Till we at the very top, because what will happen is sometimes the Lord will allow us to be so extremely visible and try to, and allow us not to be revealed so that we can learn on our own, until it just gets to the point where you're so full of yourself. By the time you fall, you were so elevated, so high, that fall, everybody gonna see it, and they're gonna know about it. So if people would understand there are consequences to the foolishness that you do, we wouldn't do it as much. And that's just the bottom line.
Well, are there any tools, or shall I say not really tools, but anything that you can share with the audience as to,
You said
help, I'm sorry, anything that you could share with the audience to help them be able to detect some of the craziness, like know that put up a red
well,
flag, know to run away.
tell you the most clear one, okay, is a lot of times people used to tell me if it sounds too good to be true, normally it probably is. I look for, we don't research deeper when we see an opportunity. What? Because and marketers and people who are targeting you, they know this. They know you're only gonna look, because our attention spans are not that long. So you're gonna pick out key things that you think are valid, and they're going to populate those key things into making you think this is going to be the grandest opportunity in the world. And not to say that you can't work your brand even when you're working with someone, but if you notice that every time you turn around they're asking you for money for something, and you've been with them and you haven't made anything yet, those are red flags. It's either you're not working your business, or what they promised just isn't. It's effective for them, it's not effective for you. So you
Right.
have to be very careful in those things. And I'm going to tell you, this business, I call it separating the men from the mice. Entrepreneurship is hard. I don't care what anybody says. They can say it's easy, it's flowing. Maybe some people got it like that, but for the most part, it is a grind. And you, what it's going to teach you is this something you really even want to do? Because it is hard work, but you have to be able to decipher. Also, ask questions. Don't be scared that if you see somebody partner with something, don't be scared to ask them, hey, did you have success with that? If they get an attitude and don't want to tell you, that's their business. But for the most part, let me tell you how this is going to roll. If they didn't make anything off of something and y'all are all a part of it, they're going to be talking about it, okay? They're going to be like, girl, I ain't made a darn thing, blah, blah, blah. Y'all going to get to talking and realize everybody been bamboozled. Or they're going to say, yes, it's been extremely successful. I've loved it. Or they're not going to say anything at all. So you got to be able to not be afraid to ask questions, even if people get offended, because this is your livelihood. If you don't got $1,500 and $2,000 to pay for certain, marketing opportunities and this and that, then you need to be asking enough questions so that it is not gonna be a loss to you. And then research what they're saying. Go deeper, because I'm gonna tell you, they be hiding all kind of little, excerpts in their marketing, right? So they can even say something to the effect of, yes, I sold 1 million copies of this, or I did, this product I made was, phenomenal, and I had, X amount of people. They could have had one uh event where maybe 100 people bought the thing, and so you call it a sellout because you sold out, but you got 20,000 pieces that you still got to sell. That's not like a huge, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things you have to really look at and decide if this is worth, you taking a chance on, because you're going to take a chance regardless. But if you're going to take a chance, feel more comfortable taking a chance on you than just what somebody is selling you. Because I'm telling you, I was one that just, I'm like, at the strip club, just giving out the ducky side of pay, trying to, navigate my way through this opportunity, and literally done been bamboozled. And it's not because I lacked hard work, because some of the shortcuts that I was paying for was so that I did see what I saw, but I realized I never went deeper, because had I looked a little more, I would have saw more things that would have been red flags, and I would have pumped the brakes and saved my money.
Okay, so excuse me. So I know one of the big things now, well, a couple of things. One, with Facebook and Instagram and, Twitter, all of the social media, it's easy for people to portray one thing, right? And that really not be the case, right? So it's easy for people.
I'm sorry.
No problem. So it's easy for people to portray
Yes.
one thing and then be doing something different, right?
Yes.
Because of this whole, all the technology. People can present any way that they want to, and that may not really be the case. So make sure that you do the research, right? Make sure that you do the research. Now, so that's one point. But also, I want to know, based on now, a lot of people are, oh my God, this feedback is killing me. A lot of the coaches are recommending that you do book anthologies, or, self-publish. A lot of people are recommending visibility, get on as many virtual stages as you can. What are your recommendations? Because I know that you're aware of some of these things that the different coaches are putting out there and saying that people need to do in order to be successful. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so my thoughts on that. I think whatever you feel like is going to benefit your brand, as long as, again, you ask enough questions. So, okay, so let me give you a prime example. There are rules to this best-selling game that, of course, a lot of publishers won't tell you, right? And so it is up to you to understand what it really means. So initially, in my mind, best selling equated to sales. Okay. So as I'm thinking about the investment that I'm about to make in an anthology or whatever the case may be, then I want to be I should have been more well versed in what exactly that means. But best selling doesn't always equate to that's the number of sales you made. And it depends on what platform you are. Sometimes it just means you were able to infiltrate a category, and with that category was able to get that particular, verbiage, or the best selling icon or whatever. But that doesn't equate to money. So you have to ask yourself, is it going to be great to be able to do this? And it's not to knock anybody's business, because it does look good to have a book associated with your business, especially something tangible that they can read. And especially like when you go to schools and different things, you just have to know what your purpose for that anthology is, and if it's going to benefit you. Because if you're about to fork over $2,000 just to have a name that says bestseller, but you ain't necessarily making the money back on it, then you got to decide, is that worth it for you? Because you could do the same marketing on your own platform, honestly. So there's so many different ways. But for me, it was, being able to cut the work that I didn't want to do. If I'm going to pay you for my success, and I've looked it up and I feel like you got 100, best selling things, it just is up to me to decide and go deep on what those are. And another thing, and I don't say this disrespectfully, but some people's bestsellers are journals. That ain't really a book. It ain't like that's the New York Times bestseller. That's just a journal that you've purchased a lot of and can put. It's really one of the most simplistic ways to be able to infiltrate the system. But again, knowledge is power. See, now you can't come to me with, oh, is this how it rolls? Because I'm not one of those people that cry about my losses. What I do is I educate myself after the loss. So for me, now, because I understand it better, then I'll know what I need to utilize it for. And when you start seeing trends are beautiful, they're great, but sometimes you got to be careful because they're just like fads. They come in, they come out. You know what I mean? And some of them have, people can get it right in the beginning and it's lucrative. But then later on, people start catching on and they realize it's not benefiting me as much. So you just have to be partnered with someone and a group that you know what your objective is. And a lot of times, do the research and see if everybody's having a level of success that they're proud of. Because you just don't want to run your business on nothing but marketing alone and no real life proof that anybody has helped you do anything. Because if I go to research you and I can't find nobody that you can help, then I know 9 times out of 10 you got a very beautiful marketing plan and absolutely no business going on. And the only thing you're doing is making money off of me. Period, point blank. Sorry if that offended anybody, but it's about.
So now, what do you think about the visibility piece? Do you think that that's one of the major pieces of the puzzle? For those out there trying to get their brand out there, you think it's a matter of getting on a lot of different virtual stages and different podcasts and just being more visible? Do you think that that's a strategic business move? I guess.
I think the more places you can be, the better, to be honest with you. Because remember, in entertainment, you're trying to provide a niche service to someone, whether it be through broadcast, whether it be through a book, a podcast, an interviewing platform.
Mhm.
What I
I'm sure she'll be coming back in a second. Doing these live broadcasts, you never know what to expect.
sorry about that. But in this particular instance, what I just feel like is just, know your audience, who you're trying to target,
Mhm.
and just make sure whatever product you have, it is trying to target that particular group. and just be specific and look at the changes. Like, look at what has worked in your business. Look at what people don't watch, in your business. And you have to be very strategic, just like they do in mainstream, where they look at Nielsen ratings. They're not going to put any advertising dollars out to anything that's not providing success. And so you have to be willing, to be able to find the niche for your audience. And when you meet that, I think it's just going to be a win-win. And I use Maury Povich as a huge success. Listen, we always talk about sensationalism. Jerry Springer and Maury, they didn't manage to bypass it all, okay? And people say all the time, that crazy stuff. Some people in there be crazy, whatever. But they have been in the game for now almost, well, it could be probably 2 decades, whatever the case may be. They've been around a long time, because when I was looking at a kid, I was watching them. But what did Maury notice? He noticed that in those beginning years, when he was about to get cut off, and I've never talked to Maury, so I don't know if this is to be the case, but this is what I have observed. So in those years, he had all of these different shows, but the ones that were the most successful were the DNA. So guess what? Now he has become the king of DNA. You want to know who your baby daddy is? Boom, call Maury. He's going to get your free one. You get to go on the show. You get perks and you get paid for the rest of your life. When he found that niche and realized how significant it was, he has capitalized off of that for the remaining of the years. So you just have to find what you want your audience to bite on in your, in whatever your purpose is, and then allow yourself to market according to that. And there is nothing wrong with, I've done every last one of those things. I've had a radio show, Blog Talk. I've been on the independent radio show, 108 Praise Radio. And then I jumped to AJE Dreamland Productions, which started into television. I've interviewed celebrities. I have had the opportunity to, go into the pageant arena, which is not anything I was even planning on doing, but it just fit the brand. And then it was something that I proved to myself I could do. And now I have my national crown. I've done the books. So I've had, like I said, one international bestseller, 2 best-selling books. And I have learned how to navigate through them. All television show is about to come up on Experience on Demand television. Finally, okay. Since I'm talking to my fellow XO dear, the X tribe. So, with that being said, all of these things will bring you the visibility. Just make sure what you're giving your audience is 100% you. Don't fluff, don't fold. You can market in a way that is still honest. Because one thing I've never said in any of the things that I've ever done, if I'm an entrepreneur, I always used to say, listen, I'm a starving artist. Not that I would speak it, but at the time, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm over here hustling, grinding. I feel like Ricky Rose. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. And guess what? Eventually, you will get to that prize. So I've never embellished my walk, because I want people to know that it is serious. And so, but that it's definitely achievable, but it is going to take some work.
Okay. So let's close out on this note.
Okay.
Talk to us, well, 3 things. Talk to us about a little bit more about the US Majesty Woman 2020,
Okay.
the
So
experience
that,
on demand, huh? The experience on demand
so
network.
that is the U.S. Majesty pageant.
Right. So
Okay, that's what
talk
you
to us
said.
about that. Talk to us about that, as well as tell us a little bit more about the experience on demand network. And then tell us what upcoming events you have that we can try to support you in.
Okay. So, as the reigning U.S. Majesty 2020, I'm the U.S. Majesty Woman 2020. That is for the U.S. Majesty Scholarship Pageant. It was
Mhm.
just an awesome opportunity to be able to, push myself. I never considered myself a pageant girl. In that opportunity, in my particular division, I was the only black, the only short one, the only plus size, and the only one that had never done pageants. So to be able to inspire a young girl that is going to come behind me, I just want her to know she can be a queen too. So it has been absolutely awesome reigning And I'll forever be a queen now. So it means so much to me. I got first runner up the first year, and then I got the national crown the second year. So it has been absolutely amazing. And it's all about serving. It is just giving back. And so I do that through media, which is what I love to do, showcase, different nonprofits and people that are, showcased all over the world. And you'll be seeing a lot of that on Experience on Demand Network. And as I segue into Experience on Demand, it is an absolute awesome opportunity to cut out the middleman and be the celebrity that you have always wanted to be, and to be able to monetize all at the same time. And we offer so many different solutions for the content creator, but we also have music distribution. We have our agency, which handles your marketing and your advertisement. We have magazines, books, podcasts. Whatever your niche is, we probably have the solution for it. And we just continue to grow and evolve. I am the customer success manager at Experience. I've been working there since September, but I've been rocking with them since the beginning. So I tell people all the time, you just don't know where this journey is going to take you. And then what was the last question, Jacqueline? I'm sorry.
The last question is, let us know what upcoming events you have so we can support you.
Okay, so I am blessed that I will be debuting my show. It should be this week. I gotta check the calendar, but it's coming in 1 or 2 days every Sunday. Okay, just check out my Facebook page, Angela Collins-Foxworth. I put most of all of my stuff on a personal page. I know that's not really business, but I got like a million business pages: the Angela Foxworth Show, the Real A Fox, the Truth of the Matter. I have all of those. But literally, I'm about to get ready every Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. I have a webinar that I love for women in business to join. All we do is support each other, and I give you great nuggets. So tonight, the title is Avoiding Distractions, because we have so many. So I just take real life things that I've done, and I give you some ways to navigate through that. And also coming up, we definitely have a lot of Experience on Demand events. Make sure you check those out, because most of the time I'll probably be affiliated with those things. And then I do have a invitation only May 16th extravaganza that is coming up at Play Bistro and Desserts here in Marietta, Georgia, where I'll be celebrating all of my successes. I have never enjoyed celebrating my wins because I'm always trying to win. And I'm going to take the time to be able to do that. I'm working with Van Miller International, Vanessa Henderson. Really, really excited about the things to come. It's invitation only. Invitations will be going out in the next week or two. May 16th, though, that is saving the date. And we're going to be dressed up and have a good time. And then I'm going to have a special birthday celebration in June this year. I will be the big 48, okay? And 8 is my favorite number because I always want to look like a figure 8. So sometime in June, my birthday is June the 20th, we're going to have a huge celebration. I'll probably recreate the luau that I did when I was 30. So we'll probably be having a luau. So, everybody will be invited, because hopefully we'll really be diminishing on COVID at that time and could be out in the air and really enjoy ourselves. I feel like when people cut loose after this pandemic, they are going to be cutting loose. So, just check me out. I do several things. I still do travel on the side that I absolutely love. I've actually expounded my travel business because I definitely want to be in place when travel explodes, because it is. So please look out for those as well. I have this Sunday, tonight, where we have the table side chat, and we talk to people about how to get the best, rates with my travel company. But not only that, how to make a lucrative income off of it. I'm always trying to find stuff to roll and really make money in, especially if it's something that I love.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So let me just give a shout out. Rally, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you for joining us. And Trinette, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you all so much for joining us and taking the time from your Sunday afternoon to check in with Miss Angela here, aka what is it? The Fox?
A Fox.
A Fox. All right. So let me say this.
Yeah.
She is going to be joining us for the next symposium in May. And what did we decide on for a date? Well, what's going to be the date that you're going to be speaking?
May the 7th.
May the 6th
Or yeah, whatever that
or
Friday
was it
is.
the 7th?
I thought it
Okay.
was the 7th, but I could be a little off. You know me, I probably got 1,000
Okay.
numbers.
So
But I
she
think
was
it's the first
anticipating.
available one that you do in May, before Mother's Day, I know.
Yes, yes, yep. The weekend before. So she's going to be one of the keynote speakers for the summit that's coming up in May. And I am so excited. So also too, like I said, just keep a watch on her page and my page because the information will be coming out soon with more details on actual dates and times that people are going to be speaking. I just wanted you all to know, for those that have tuned in, and please share this broadcast out. Okay, sharing is caring. And Angela, I'm sure you'll be able to share it out too once we finish. I just wanted you all to know that she is going to be one of the keynote speakers, and I am so excited about that. Thank you. I'm so honored to have you on the show today, for sharing your wisdom and dropping your nuggets. Sorry about the whole feedback issue. I hope you guys were able to hear, hear us basically. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, I'm Jacqueline Kabot Harrison. I am your host for A Queen's Roundtable Show, as well as A Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Symposium. The next one is coming up in May. Super excited about that. So go ahead and you can check me out on Realizing Your Potential 123. That's my Facebook handle, as well as my Instagram and LinkedIn handle. So go ahead and connect. Oh, and also on Clubhouse now. Are you on Clubhouse too, Angel?
No, I actually am learning how to navigate through Clubhouse. So I did do a question last week, but found out that I needed to actually invite people in. So I actually recreate that room. But the question was, has romance died? And so that's what I was talking about. So I
Okay.
just probably will do that. What goes on in A Fox's head, only Clubhouse will be able to handle anyway.
Right.
So I'll get to start having fun.
All right. So I'm just learning to navigate it myself too. So you can find me on Clubhouse as well, but under Realizing Your Potential LLC. So we're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you again so much for joining the show. And we will talk again soon. And everybody out there, Facebook, YouTube, thank you again for joining. And please sign up, join the mailing list so that way you can know and stay informed. All right, so everybody take care and talk to everyone again soon.